Hello and welcome to episode 105 of the Spare Change Challenge on Ignition Poker. As we continue to try and run our bankroll up. Just got in. I'm running a little bit behind today, but that's okay. When the real job is busy, puts less pressure on the poker income, right? So we'll never shy away from the sure money versus the funny money we're playing with here, right? So I'm not sure how long I'll play for this session, but I did want to go ahead and stay consistent and make sure I try to stream on the days that I say I'm going to stream. So we literally are just starting to open up tables right now. And yeah, other than that, nothing much else to talk about. It's hard to believe that summer's almost here. Kids will be out of school in a couple weeks. So do we want to play this three-handed or do we want to look for a fuller table? These guys look like they've been battling a while. There's nothing available right now, so we'll go ahead and stick with it for now and give it a shot. Why not? We'll check back this unagreeable board, assuming we'll pick up some equity on some turns and can continue. But with very little fold equity on the flop. It's a pretty big bet. So we're getting 2.5 to 1 with the nut flush draw, a straight draw. Potentially the ace is an out. I think this is an okay call here. The thing is, it's hard to get paid off if we do happen to hit our heart. And that would be most of our outs, right? And if we happen to hit a 4, we could be drawing, we could get there and have reverse implied odds. I think this bet might just be a little bit too big for us to continue here. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna fold this one. And we don't know, this guy could be check raising the turn too, right? So I think if we were closing the action, it might be closer. But yeah, you see what I mean? I mean, we could have spiked an ace there and then felt like we had to call it river bet, and we would have been up against two pair. So I think that is a spot where even though we did improve, it's better off just folding in that spot. I don't think the price was right. If it were an open-ended straight draw, it'd be much more likely to call there, I think, because it's just much easier to get paid off with that type of hand. I think we'll open the king 5 offsuit here. High card strength. And sometimes we can just have the best hand here, but it's hard to... I mean, this is also the type of board you'll get raised a lot on, so I like to bet a little bit on the bigger side to discourage that. So I think I want to make him have something when he's going to raise me here, or more frequently have something, so I like the bigger bet there. And this looks like it's turning into a table of full stacks, and I don't know. I might try for another table here. So we have 2 overs and a gut shot. If we had backdoor diamonds, I'd be a little more thrilled about a check raise. I think just a bet with equity is probably the best play here. And probably go ahead and set our price for the turn as well. Although some of our quote-unquote outs are going to improve him. Now he's got a lot of flush draws in his turn. He's also got 6-7, which got there. He could also have like 9-10, which we're going to get paid off. I think I like a bet fold on this river. Better than a check call. Just because I think there's some hands that get there that'll pay us off that we're beating. It's going to be highly unlikely for him to bluff this river, just because we have only $15 behind. So I'm assuming he'd have something like a 8x hand or a 10, like 9-10. Of course, he's raising that on the flop a lot. Well, he's 0.3 aggression factor, so maybe not. But I think I like the bet fold better. And if it was if we had a little lesser hand, let's see if this table actually is okay before I leave this one. See if it's actually a table. It's not. We'll give it a second here, but we can go ahead and see what that guy had, just for fun. Why not? Since we have that ability. Fives are a little marginal with this dynamic. Pretty passive table. I think we can limp behind the ace 7 suited. Let's see what that guy had. He had bottom pair, 6-7 on that board. And just for whatever reason decided to pay us off. It's a pretty sick payoff, but whatever. I'll take it. We're going to try for another table here. I don't like the way this one looks. Wait, we'll do this first. Now leave. I mean, we can just get right back on it if there's nothing available. We'll try this one. It's got a short stack here, so I like the looks of this one better right off the bat. It's hard to table select with the new system, but I think I kind of have an idea in my head of a way to do it. It's not as, obviously it's not as strong as the prior way we were able to do it, but nobody's able to do it that way anymore. So if we can kind of just figure out the best way to do it and do it better than everybody else, and I think the way I figured out the way to do it, which I'll keep that information to myself for now. And it's nothing earth-shattering. In fact, you could probably figure it out for yourself, but I can give you a hint. The hint is just vary the big blinds that you leave a table with, and you can figure out the rest. Of course, I guess this only pertains to short stacks, so you full stacks are on your own. Standard c-bet. It's hard for him to rep an ace. If he calls here, he's probably not folding to a barrel. I don't really want a 3-barrel on an ace-high board, so we're gonna enjoy such a high success rate on that flop that we don't really need to barrel off in that spot. We've got plenty of hands in our range that can do that, and plenty of hands in his range that are folding, so we don't need to do anything crazy there. Go ahead and leave that table. This board hits his range a much, well, I don't know. I don't know what my perceived range could be here, but his perceived range, I think this board is better for him. So I'm going to check back. We do have some showdown value on cards like that. I think he's just got a lot of like ace highs and king highs here himself. Maybe even a hand like deuces. And he just doesn't know what to do on the turn. I don't really like a raise here though. I think we can just safely fold. The hand, I mean, it's better for his range, so let's, you know, we have to sometimes concede. Hey Marlboro, things are great for me. How are they for you? Good to see you. I think we can do this with this player here and hopefully get in like a 3 or 4 way pot with this hand. I mean, hopefully we just take it down now, but if we do, make it a multi-way hand where we can connect. Yeah, I think without much room to improve, we just check fold this flop. People like to, these type of players like to play weak aces, so I'm not going to get in some kind of weird see what develops on the turn out of position type thing. So just give that one up. Yeah, it looks like an ace versus a jack here. That's what they seem to be repping, right? Queen 10. Queen 10 versus a jack. There's a money going in here. Could be. Yep, that's what it looks like. Ace 4, huh? The bluff shove. That's really weird. The bluff shove with top pair. That I don't understand too much. He's not getting him off anything. The money's not there. Unfortunately, I wish that guy hadn't done that. But I think this guy's a fish too, so all is not lost. Oh, and he reloaded. I like it. This is a good table, I think. This might be the table of the week so far. Me likey. Don't fold to my aces. Looks like that's going to happen. That's been happening a lot. Come on, have kings. Ace king would be even better, right? Okay, he's a nit. He's only stolen 20%, so we're going to go ahead and give him a chance to put it in now. We're not going to slow play this. If he was like 80-60, we might just call there. Yeah. Let's make this hand play much easier. Ace king's 3-betting us, so for beat it's by like ace 8, ace king, you know, something like that. As we do take it down here. It's a pretty confident bet, but he could have worse for sure. Could have a draw. For beat, whatever. We flopped a pretty good hand for us. So if we could call it here, it's probably by like a worse ace. He would have already called with ace queen or ace king, or even an ace he would have called. So he could have something like 8x here, or pocket 9s or something that he just doesn't want to fold. Or he could have 5-4 with a backdoor diamond, spade draw or something. I don't know. Either that or he's just tanking for no reason. Or he's calling his friends over the computer because he's got pocket 8s here and he wants to show them how he just stacked the short stack. You know, that happens too. I get slow rolled sometimes. Just when you play a short stack, you just got to deal with that stuff sometimes. That doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't look like a promising table. We'll just extract ourselves from that one. This might be the same table. I don't know. I didn't look at the stack sizes. We'll see. Let's see if we can get on another table right now. Just for the heck of it. If not, we'll just stick with this one. Looks like we can, so what I'm going to do is leave this one. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Ah! I still haven't figured out this stuff too well. So hopefully it won't put me on the same one. Looks like it might have. Okay, let's trick the little computer here. And we're going to bet this. Whoa, get out of my way! Gosh, darn it. Alright, take me off a little bit. I hate it when it puts it up here, so you can't get off the table. So what I'll do is move this one out of the way. Do that. Get off of that one. I think we bet fold 2 streets here. I know it's a small, could be an inducing bet, but I think y'all won't be as apt to raise that hand. I think we just fold here. We got the worst 2 pair, flush got there. He's going to hate this card if he's got like ace X, right? So the other thing he's really bluffing us with here is like king jack with a king of hearts, right? And that hand has a ton of equity against us. Maybe I could bet a little bit bigger here, but I think it accomplishes the same thing. I think at worst he's got like ace 2 pair here, honestly, when he does this most of the time. I just think we're going to run into a flush a lot too. So I'm not gonna go with my boat draw without something to go with it. It's not Omaha, right? Really like this table. Oh, cool. So what stakes are you playing, Marlboro? What site and everything? Okay. Welcome to those just joining the stream. Good to see everyone. I didn't check my audio before I started, so I'm assuming it works. No complaints yet. I'm pretty bad about that. You guys know that. Were that a 7, not a heart on the turn on that 7-8? I think a check shove can be in order on that turn because I think his ace-x hands or maybe even his second pair of hands would bet that turn. Hey, hunker down. Things are going well here. How are you? I know it's hard to have a conversation with me talking, but I think it works better this way for people watching the stream to see the chat and then see my response immediately rather than me typing a chat. And that way they can watch the stream and not have to watch the current chat or whatever, which is the past chat. Hey Diego. This is just the softest site I have access to right now. That's a US facing major site. The other ones are not as soft as this, and that's the whole reason. Yeah, I mean, they allow 30 big blind buy-ins. Bet online is 40 big blinds, and so is WPN. I like the 30 big blind size. But mostly it's just the softness. I mean, if WPN was soft and this was a tight, more reg-infested site, I would definitely be playing WPN no matter the stack size. I think just price-wise, we just have to call here. I don't think we can shove. This guy limp, this guy min raised. I think suited king jack we would shove here. I think we're right on the cusp, but I think calling is plus EV, so let's take the lower variance route. And now if somebody has a 7, it's just they probably have 7-8 or something, or just ace-7, or it's a cooler. We're never folding now once we hit this card, but I don't think raising makes any sense. I want him to continue betting with his pocket 9s or whatever. Sometimes a lot of times we'll just be beat here, honestly, because, I mean, he min-raised this guy. I mean, a lot of players like this will do it with aces or something, so. Wow, he min-raises and with 10-7 and hits trips. How sweet for him. You would never expect that to be in his range, right? I mean, I know we do it with hands like that, maybe not that loose, but that is just running bad for us. But it's okay, we only had like 17 big blinds, so big deal, right? That's just like really like a weird outcome. I mean, I think if we play that hand 100 times and that outcome happens, he'll have that hand twice, maybe. Something like that. Most of the time he's just going to have a jack, and so a lot of times a worse jack, or like pocket 10s or something. And I mean, certainly a few percentage of the time you'll have like queens plus. I think even though it looks like a draw heavy board, I still think it's better to bet. Bet this flop. There are some decent turn cards for us as well. That's not the worst. We do have a double gutter now. Do we try to realize that equity? It's also a good hand card for him. I don't think we're getting him off a jack anyway. Not that he would have that, but he's going to like that card. And I think we have kind of the nuts against. Like if a 10 comes, we could win straight over straight. Something like that, right? Or if well, maybe not when a 6 comes, but we'll just check back. That's a pretty good card for us now to bluff. We can get him off some of his pairs. Unfortunately, he just leads, so we have to fold. We don't have enough room to bluff back at him there. I don't think this is a plus EV shove here. Although we do have fish behind, so I think we can call. Just barely here. I think it's a good call because we know we're going to be in a multi-way pot, and that increases the... And we can also just win, right? We don't have to even make a hand to win this hand. There's a lot of hands in his range that aren't beating 9s. That's a pretty quick bet. I think he's weaker when he bets quick. Wow, he's just going to town, isn't he? Such quick bets, though. So I'm assuming he would have a hand that he's going all the way with now. I mean, obviously he's not folding, so would he have like 8s plus and some kind of jack sometimes? I think he thinks about it, though, with some of his stronger hands. So I think he has a medium... Unfortunately, I think a few of his medium range hands are beating us right now. I just don't have enough of a read on this guy to continue. I mean, I certainly could just min-raise the flop and simplify things. But I think we get information from his turn, because a lot of people will just check. I think we'll call a lead in this spot. Yep. Hey, Juke. I play a 30 big blind stack. That's just what I do. I've been doing it for years. I wrote a book on it called Automatic Poker. So that's what I do. If you want more information, you can look below. And it should be in the description. Plenty of information about what I do and why I do it. Yeah, you got that right, Diego. And I'm glad you're having good success so far. Keep it up. And you're right. I play against very few people that know how to play against... I play against very few people that know how to play against full stacks, much less short stacks. So, and people even today, even the regs that are winning are pretty bad a lot of the time. So they just play against worse competition, right? Definitely staying on this table with this guy here. Poker Loco, huh? Where is that? Poker Loco. Have I heard of that? I don't think I've heard of that. Definitely going to ship it over this under the gun limp from a 62-0. Expect to get called pretty wide here. I like all the big kings and certainly small pairs, which would be nice if you'd fold some of those. We're going to continue on this table with this player. If you guys that don't play on Ignition that decide you do want to play on Ignition or want to play on WPN or BetOnline, if you sign up through my website, I'm an affiliate of those sites, so I would be much appreciated if you would sign up through automaticpoker.com if you decide you want to join any of these sites. I basically stream for free otherwise, but I get a small percentage of your rake if you do that. This guy looks pretty aggro. It's possible, Marlboro. It's very possible he missed. I had a plan pre-flop. I'm going for the limp shove here. I think he's going to ISO super wide when he's a 36-27 over 11 hands. So I'm just taking advantage of that knowledge. That's pretty weak hand for me doing that. I normally don't do it that weak, but I just... This guy's 42-33, you know, and he's 3-bet. Well, he's 3-bet once, but he's shown that he can 3-bet. I expect him to pump it up here a lot, but I still think versus this player we have to try and play pots. So I think 9-10 is like the nut nothing. So as you can see, it's now the nut something. This is why we limp hands like this versus fish, because now his range is going to include a ton of this, like tons of this. So we'll happily, hopefully, hope he has something. I would be amazed if we don't get at least a check call at least half the time from this guy on this board. Unfortunately, he probably had like 5s there, so didn't work out. I'm going to open the king-9 suit. It's a little loose, but we have this guy in the big blind. He's playing pretty tight. I mean, pretty loose. Not tight. 48-12. Enough said. This guy may be a little less likely to bet when I check this time. However, it's a different situation, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the check shove again. Maybe he'll call me a little lighter this time. Besides, it's the best way to get the money in right now versus bet and then have a bad turn card come. Because I think he's trying to float me here when he calls on the button a lot, so I'm just going to play it that way. Definitely going to bet this. I don't have to bet big though. I bet like 250. Try to get in over 3 streets. This guy leads. I don't give much credit to donk bets. This could be like a 3. Could be a worse king sometimes. Could be like 4-5. So we're just going to shove. It's a pretty big bet, so we're just going to try and get it in now. If he wants to... He looks like he's trying to commit, so let's let him. We're certainly not going to fold top pair versus a fish, right? We didn't get any action up here, did we? Wow, he potted it and folded. That's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I agree, Marlboro, but I just think with my exact hand, yeah, I just don't know. I wasn't setting up to like call, just make some hero calls versus guy. I was setting up to play versus fish and flop the kind of hand that's just going to see a lot of showdowns, be able to minimize a lot of flops. I think versus a lot of his range and multi-way pots, I'll have more success there, which is, in that spot I thought it would be more likely to be multi-way more often instead of just heads up or whatever. And I don't think we're good there often enough in a vacuum for me just to continue there and just pile it. So I think we're kind of playing fancy play syndrome when we do that. Certainly going to bet the turn. Now that it checks through, it's probably more of a bet fold now. Maybe not. There's 4 ranges here. There's 3 ranges other than me. So many hands could have checked back here and improved. You know, we have some random hands here, so unfortunately we don't get action versus worse, but then again we don't get raised, so we win a decent sized pot there, which is good. Do we limp this? Makes it play easier. We have a chance to get in pre-flop. Yeah, let's do that. I don't normally like this in this scenario, but I think it can be good, because if it's going to be so massively multi-way anyway, and we certainly are going to get in versus this guy, the aggro guy. We're not going to slow play this. So we get in versus ace-jack. And we hold. Mission accomplished. Wow. That's kind of a shitty turn, isn't it? That's a really good river, though, isn't it? Please have a flush. Please have a king of spades or something, or clubs, I'm sorry. This guy's pretty tight looking, so we're just going to shove here. Overbet shove. Hope he has an ace or a club. I don't think he's calling with a 4, so we might as well just bet against his aces and his club, right? We're not really trying to get him off, you know, an ace. Because he's not going to fold an ace. He's going to get stubborn and probably call with an ace there. Certainly going to call with, like, a reasonably high club. Maybe a better river would have been a non-club 10, but maybe he made a hero fold with 7 high flush or something. Global poker. Yeah. I have not heard of global poker, actually. It sounds like, I mean, if they pay out via PayPal, that's pretty damn awesome. That is pretty awesome. Bitcoin's cool, though. I mean, but global poker, is it US facing? Can I play it from the US? Because that's not on my radar. And what's the traffic like? Let's see, this may or may not be a good table. This guy's 38-0, but it's a small sample. Now it's just a protection bet. Certainly could get called by like 5s here. 4x. I mean, certainly a lot of his range has an ace in it here, but I think we can get value from worse. And we can't just check back and then let him bet like 3-7, right, or something on the river. So we have to bet the turn there. I mean, we don't have to bet the turn, but it looks our hand's a little bit too strong just to take that line, just to give up, right? I don't think we can profitably open the 8 deuce suited with these two player types here. Okay, we'll do that. I'm gonna play until 5:30, so that's another 15 minutes. I have a ton of paperwork to get done, and I want to spend a little bit of time with my daughters before bed. I have to walk the dog, all that good stuff. So sometimes I come in late from work and I just have to cut something out. I'll probably make up this hour and 15 minutes tonight when I play my night session. If we bet this flop, we have to just get it in. But it's hard to bet this flop and get it in versus a hand we're not going to have more than 30% equity. But we have a ton of good turn cards, and we could even have the best hand now. This is actually a hand, where, especially multi, where I've started checking back frequently. Because I can call turn bets here, right? Especially, there's a lot of cards I can call turn bets with. And sometimes we can just have the best hand that checks down here too, right? And certainly we can call a turn river bet. Probably can't raise a bet here, unfortunately, because it's just hard for a non-flush to call us. But we can certainly value bet. Trying to get a king to call here, or a jack or a 10. I think we have the best hand often enough, and I don't want to get raised here. I don't want to get it in with 30% equity, like I said. But I think he's going to check the turn a lot, and we can either just call if he bets. I'm sorry, if he checks the turn, we can bet. And if he... so we can see the river no matter what here. We're going to realize our equity. And he can bet this turn. We still have the best hand here sometimes. He could have like king 10 here. And then like he just doesn't follow through in the river, and we get to showdown anyway, right? Or we could just spike the nuts and go from there, right? So how many threes are in his range? Because we know he's not folding anything if we bet a 3. I think we have to just bet a reasonable size bet here, just because I think he's probably got more 2x, 5x, ace-x in his range than he does 3s. And he might just pump it up with a... If we bet 5, he might raise a 3 anyway. So let's just bet to try and get value from that part of his range. The majority of his range is just 1 pair hands, or maybe even 2 pair hands sometimes. If he has a flush, he's going all in. If he has a straight, he might go all in. So let's just get the maximum from the majority of his range there versus trying to make some polarizing shove there and get snapped by nothing, right, but straight. I don't think he's just going to snap us off with 2 pair there if we shove. I mean, it's possible. But I think that because it's mostly a low board, that's just a small part of his range, especially since it's 4 to a straight and 3 to a flush. He's not as likely to do that. I might be talking out of my ass a little bit today, so let me know if I am. Because I got like 50 thoughts going on in that hand at once, and I don't know if I was clear on what I'm talking about there, honestly. Poker Loco, very fishy site, and the traffic is cool. Wow, all the way up to 400. Cap tables and Poker Stars more profit. I can't comment on Poker Stars, honestly. I haven't played there since Black Friday. Cap tables back then were pretty... Well, okay. I don't know how hard they were because I was not very good then. I was able to beat it. The cap table's up to at least a 100 in L back then. I have no clue now, and my skill level is obviously much higher now. So I maybe could beat it the same, or maybe not beat it at all. Maybe it's too reg infested. I really have no idea. I tend to think all the games on PokerStars are pretty reg heavy, so it's very difficult, especially with their lowered rakeback system there. This might be a bet fold, bet fold, bet fold here, rather than a check shove. There's just too much going on. If we're not getting called by worse if we check shove, and I mean, is this the type of board he's really going to stab on a lot? This might actually seem really nitty. I think this is a bet fold. This may seem really crazy to some of you out there, but I'm pretty sure that's a bet fold on that board. Sure, he could have like 5x, and I mean, we have top pair, right? It's blind versus blind, and he's an aggressive player, maybe? Yeah, I should have check shoved that, honestly. I wasn't thinking he was that loose when against a normal player or a tight player. I think check shoving is bad because I think they'll check back and give up on that board way too much. I don't think they're going to stab as often in there. Maybe they will. I don't know, but I think a lower frequency for sure. I probably misplayed that post flop. I can't flop top pair and fold there, right? I need to check shove, and maybe I can bet put it in too. Bet call doesn't seem right because it just seems like there's so many turn cards that I'm gonna hate, and I don't want to I think if he's gonna stack, he has a hand like a 5x. He's not gonna raise. He's not gonna raise and fold, right? So we might as well just get it in. And yeah, I'm just talking out of my ass today. That was a misplayed hand for sure. I kind of talked myself into a fancy play. I kind of talked myself into being a nit there. And I can't really do that with top pair for only 27 big blinds or whatever it was. This doesn't look like a great table. So, I mean, it's a mistake, but it's a small mistake. I won't be doing that often, folding in that spot. So, literally, I just lost like 3 big blinds. Which, as long as I don't do that every time, and I'm not flopping top pairs and check folding to aggro players every time, it's not a problem. As long as I realize that I did make a mistake there, and just don't do it again. I didn't talk my way through that well enough, and this guy seems aggro enough now that I should have check shoved. I'm not really concerned about this guy's 3-bet because this guy could be is probably ISOing me very light, and this is a reg, and he probably realizes that, so he can 3-bet this guy light. So it's not like this guy's 10-8, and I'm gonna fold ace-king now. I'm gonna go ahead and just get it in. Well, he has 10s, so woo! Whoa! That hit me pretty good, wouldn't you say? It's nice to do that, though. It's nice to have him drawing dead on the flop. Like, if it's just trip aces and he has, like, the flush draw, you know? That's kind of annoying, but I flopped the Nutter Butters with a redraw to the Nutter Butters. That was pretty sick. Yeah, it's good to run good on flops. Occasionally, right? I hope this isn't the same table because that was not a very good table. I should be checking stack sizes and not. It's hard for me to do that when I'm talking and streaming. So maybe it's probably best if I don't stream every single hour I play anymore for that reason. Or I just need to only talk strategy and yeah. Especially when I'm tired like this. I've been up since 6 o'clock and I've been on the road since 6:30. So I've basically been on go for 11 hours driving and making stops and dealing with customers and things like that. So I don't think I'm capable of playing my A+ game right now anyway. So I think B+, A- might be my best game right now. And when I'm talking and streaming and all that stuff, it probably becomes like a B-, which is still good enough to beat these games, but probably not optimal enough that I should be doing it every time. So it's probably good that I kind of rest and go ahead and take a break and end this stream here shortly in 8 minutes. But you know, the majority of my hours are played in this state anyways. I'm not really ever played super rested. I mean, this isn't my job. If it was my job, I would be resting and I would be playing only when at optimal times with optimal rest. Yeah, US and Canada only. And that's global poker? Is this the same table? Could I do this again? With the same hand? Wasn't it even hearts? I can't remember. Maybe they learned their lesson. But they don't know that I'm the same player because I left, right? This hits a random hand pretty good. I follow streaming on. That's pretty cool. So that's global poker. I'll look into it. I think he's as likely to have 9-10 here or 7 or an 8 that he's going to turn into a bluff rather than a jack or a flush here. So, I mean, he makes this polarizing $6 bet and he tanked before he did it. Usually when people are bluffing, they're more apt to, yeah. But that's kind of a really good card for me. He is the type of player that could bluff here. I think I have to pay this off. I mean, I think I'm good to 35% I have to be here. Something like that. And he did turn his 8 into a bluff, which I said was in his range. If he had been a 22-18, I would not have called there, just for the record. And this is definitely not a good table. Let's find another one. Not that we really have time to find another one, but we're gonna try. Maybe we can get one more revolution. So let's pull up this global poker. Let me Google it here. This is a half stacking player, so I will play here. Actually, I might watch a hand or two, since it's three-handed. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit in the big blind. Screw that. Not when this guy's getting a free ride, right? Yeah, now have your free ride. Now you have to play the big blind just like I do. Global poker. Is that a new site? Just curious. Because I've never heard of it. Global poker launches in North America, pokernews.com, February 24th, 2 days before my birthday. This guy's 25-0 over four hands. That doesn't mean anything. I'm going to defend. Vacuum here. I'm going to check back instantly if he checks. Underrep my hand. Pick up a gut shot. Yeah, I think I can do this again. Kind of getting a little carried away with that, maybe. I think I min raise this turn. I'm gonna min raise fold. Just because I don't want to call big bet versus this player. This guy hits the nuts, and we hit two pair. But good, we got called by Jack 10. That's good. We're gonna go ahead and sit on this table, play one revolution. So that's our first run bad on a flop turn and river, right? But we still got it in versus Jack 10 with, so Hold'em Manager's gonna love us, right? We're gonna check shove this. Hand plays way too well to bet. I mean, we're way too strong to bet. That's kind of a shitty turn. We're gonna assume he doesn't have much here though most of the time. We have two pair queens and jacks. I think he's got some jacks in his range. I think we're gonna bet fold this. What the hell? Did it just post me under the gun? Piece of... I hate it when it does that. Why would it just post me under the gun? I know why. Because I'm an idiot, that's why. But we're going to set out next big blind on these tables. I'm going to go ahead and bet my 5 here. Expecting to have the best hand most of the time. Apparently he doesn't think I have the best hand, or he has the best hand. Fold to Jack 7. This guy's way too nitty. Yeah, we'll just fold. Why is it sitting out now? Oh, because I did that. I don't want to do that because I want to see the big blind here. I'm going to go ahead and check this back, actually. Even though I think it's a good board to c-bet bluff. We're definitely going to bet our 7 now, though. I think this one can go both ways. It's kind of a curious call. Is you just got a deuce here every time? It's got to be like a deuce, right? I mean, could it be a flush draw on the turn? And now he's leading. It's very curious. He's 14-14, but it's only 7 hands. I mean, if he's a reg, he would think that I can't have a king because I didn't bet the flop. So I've got to be pretty weak here. So when he misses his flush, he should think that I would be folding a lot here, which means I should be calling more often. I think it's a... Okay, whatever. Yeah, he's got a king. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I don't know why he wouldn't lead the turn. Seems more of the better play for him. I don't know. So we'll go ahead and leave that one. And yeah, we'll be leaving next big blind on all these. That was a very confusing play by him. I mean, I understand the thinking if he's actually thinking the way I think he's thinking. I actually like the play on his part. If he's thinking the way I'm thinking. Because he did only have king 5, and he's kind of bet folding the river, right? That was his idea, is he only thinks he's going to get one street of value anyway, so he checks. He was going to check call the turn and then probably check call the river, depending on my bet sizing. So, well, he's probably just decided he was going to put no more than 2 streets in. And his best way to only put 2 streets in is to check the turn. So, I mean, I understand if that's his thinking. It's actually pretty smart. So, props to him. But I do see a lot of people check call with draws, and there were a ton of draws, right? So, check call with draws, and then bomb rivers because they think I'm weak because I didn't bet the flop. So, I think knowing that, it's probably still a profitable call on my part. I just ran into the guy in the situation where he had me. So global poker. Okay, cool. See you, Marlboro. Oh, hey, Rockasili. Yeah. You mean better as in running better, or better as in I'm playing better? Probably both, right? I don't know. Yeah, I will run good. I Hunker Down says, today, run good, making up for the killer day from last week when everything was getting hammered. Yeah, thanks. I think I'm definitely up this session. I don't know how much. I think I only lost 1 stack, and I think I got 3 or 4 stacks. So probably up between 70 and 100, I would guess, which is good for 45 minutes. And I think I was up something like that each of the last 2 days. Honestly, I think I'm on a pretty good upswing, but I maybe I'm getting close back to break even after last week, but we just don't know. Who knows? Who cares, right? We'll find out at the end of the month. So yeah, let me read this global poker thing before I go. Global poker launches in North America. Global poker has created a new business model of virtual currency gaming combined with real cash prizes. Okay, virtual currency gaming with real cash. Is it kind of like a club then? Play poker in the States and cash out with PayPal using global poker. Globalpoker.com isn't characterized as gambling. It's a sweepstakes model. Okay. Its gold coins are virtual chips. So is it a loophole? Is that what it is? Gold coins are used for playing tournaments and are credited for the player's balance but can't be cashed out. The company gives away sweepstakes or sweeps cash that can be used in the poker room and withdrawn via PayPal as real cash prizes. Currently, Global Poker's model applies to any game of chance, including all casino games, sports gaming, and lotteries. I might be interested in this. I'm going to look into this. Why not, right? If it's very fishy, which it sounds like it could be, and hell, it might be something we could take advantage of if it's in its infancy before regulation noids it or whatever, right? Because I know they've done the sweepstakes thing around North Carolina, and they had a law passed a few years back that shut them all down. So there's ghost sweepstake places all. I can't say that. There's buildings that used to be sweepstakes places that are all closed down all over the state. But this is more, I mean, it would take a federal bill, and that's not likely. Not in this environment, anyway. Yeah, I'll look into it more. So thanks, everybody, for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.